You're not a sucker? Okay. All right. Just because you're starting to come around doesn't mean I'm going to let you get away with all the bullshit you've been saying for the past, 5 years. Okay. You're definitely a sucker. All right. You definitely fell for it. So let's just not fall for it again by not voting. Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, we discuss all things culture and politics, and in today's video, we are going to be reacting to a new interview with famous actor Michael Rapaport, who is quite infamous for his Trump Derangement Syndrome, and in a shocking turn of events, has potentially changed his political views. We will certainly be getting into all that, but before we do, please ignore my nails. They are busted, crusted, and disgusted. There's just, there's only so much time in a day, right? And Michael Rapaport changing his mind on Donald Trump may just be a little bit more important than my crusty ass nails. If you guys could please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you feel so inclined, you absolutely don't have to, but you should. Make sure you follow my TikTok in the description down below so you can get to know me a little bit more, and let's get into it, shall we? So if you guys aren't familiar with Michael Rapaport, he's an actor. He's been in a lot of things. He's been in Friends. He's been in Prison Break. I really enjoyed him in the show on Netflix called Atypical. But honestly, more than anything, I feel like he's mostly famous for his strong political views, especially in regards to Donald Trump. In my opinion, Michael Rapaport is the definition of Trump Derangement Syndrome. He's gone viral for some of his political outbursts and rants many times. So now that you have a little bit of background on him, let's take a look at this new interview that just came out with him and why he's changing his mind.
If it's politics, I'm aggressive. It's certainly aggressive about anti-Jewish stuff. It's certainly aggressive about anti-Israel, anti-Zionist things. And the reason why I have taken that sort of tone is because on social media, they're being aggressive to Jews and to Israeli people and to supporters of Israel. The majority of the people, they use Zionism as a curse word, as a slur. They use supporting Israel as like you're some sort of freak or terrorist. I want to fight the aggressiveness and the insulting and the slurs with the same aggressiveness and the slurs and the insulting that they've been giving us.
All right. I didn't really go into this video expecting to have to talk about Israel and Hamas, but here we are. Obviously, people have every right to feel the way they feel. I can understand how if you're Jewish, the current discourse going on with Hamas and Israel can feel quite personal at times. But I do think that a lot of people who sit on this side of the aisle, people who support Israel, I'm not even going to say people that are Jewish, but just people that support Israel and the US, like helping Israel fund this war. I think because this issue is so deep rooted for them and so personal, I can see how it's easy to take anybody who doesn't support Israel as a personal attack. Honestly though, I think for most Americans, it's not even about like, ooh, Israel bad. I think it's just that as Americans, we know our country is falling apart right now. Our country is in total disrepair. Even Michael Rapaport knows that. He's going to tell us about it in a second. And it's not so much that we are anti-Jew or anti-Israel or anti-Zionism as much as it is that we simply just don't want to be spending our hard-earned taxpayer money on other countries anymore. We're over it. We've been doing it for decades. The Ukraine war has pushed us over the edge, and now the government wants to use more of our hard-earned money to fund Israel and their efforts over there. And I think most Americans are just done. Just because we don't want to spend our hard-earned money on a different country in the opposite side of the world and a conflict that just doesn't really involve us, just because we don't want to do that doesn't mean that we're anti-Jew or we're anti-Semite or we're even anti-Zionism. And I really hate that people keep trying to make it into that just so they can get what they want. And to be honest, I am kind of an anti-Zionist. My political beliefs are in the interest of America, not Israel, not Ukraine, not Afghanistan, not Iraq. They're in the interests of America, okay? And I think what America needs more than anything right now is for us to put our interest back in here, okay? We need to focus on the decaying society that people like Michael Rapaport contributed to for the longest time. We need to focus on that.
During this 2024 award season, to see nobody at any one of those awards, people cry, people rally, people speak, people get standing ovations, to see nobody speak, I'm be totally honest, I was so disappointed in my community. I was embarrassed in my community of Hollywood people, you know, I think one of the reasons why some of the people that have spoken out have quieted because they have gotten lambasted, they have gotten boycotted, their comments get filled by robots, sock puppets, AI, and that could freak people out.
For one thing, like, what do you expect? You know what Hollywood is about. You know that it's corrupted by Democrat demons, and you would expect them to be on the side of Israel? Bruh. Like, why would you expect that? I think it's very clear that most people on the left, at least on the radical left, are for Palestine, and I'm just kind of shocked that he would expect anything different. And for two, I just think it's interesting to hear someone who's been so liberal kind of talk about what it's like to get lambasted on the internet when you don't toe the line and go along with whatever the accepted societal boundary is. This is what conservatives and people who don't toe the liberal line have to go through every day. And now that Michael Rapaport or people he knows are going through this, suddenly they start to realize how crazy the political climate really is in America right now. If you don't go along with the accepted stances on things, you will get absolutely destroyed and harassed. You will get absolutely wrecked. And I just think it's interesting for someone like Michael Rapaport to finally see things that people on our side of the aisle have been saying forever. Like, this is craziness. It's actually insane that if you don't say exactly what you're supposed to say, you're going to get death threats.
It's been extremely disappointing to me to see the silence because I've spoken out for Black Lives Matter, and I'll continue to speak out on behalf of other things that I agree on. But to see the majority of the Black African-American community say nothing and not want to inform themselves, to say nothing, to see so many Jewish actors who have made a living off of the great iconic Jewish humor, to see so many women accept awards, 20-year-old women, 22-year-old women, 30-year-old women accept awards at this show, that show, and 20-something-year-old young men, while there's hostages the same age as them, and not say anything political. You don't have to be political like me. And not to say anything about that when we say things about trees being cut down, equal right pay, you know, Black Lives Matter this, LGBTQ this, to not say not a peep. And in this day and age in 2024, when the red carpet is bigger, longer, and more packed than ever before, there's bloggers, vloggers, podcasters, mainstream media, to see nothing, that shit hurt my fucking heart. Straight the fuck up.
So isn't that interesting how transactional this view is? Oh, well, wait, what do you guys mean? Hey, blacks, I supported you. Women, I supported you. Gays, I supported you. And now you're not going to support me back? It just goes to show you that, like, the left is literally all virtue signaling. It's so obviously just not sincere. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's kind of wild to watch somebody in real time, like, see their whole belief system kind of crumble before their eyes.
My political views have changed immensely, and they're changing at a rapid pace. I will not vote for Joe Biden. I do not support anybody from the squad. I think they're totally full of shit. I think they're dangerous. I think they're race hustlers. I think they're cons. I think inevitably they want to get themselves production deals to produce documentaries. I think they're three-card Monty playing bullshit artists.
Super interesting, right? How just moments ago, Michael Rapaport, we have here saying, oh, I supported BLM. I support women. I support all of this. And then we get to this part, which I actually agree with him on. And, you know, the truth comes out. Now the truth is coming out. He just said it for what it is. They're race hustlers. So BLM isn't real. And I would imagine having these realizations is really disheartening because you really put yourself out there to support organizations like BLM and then to realize that it's like all kind of a sham for ulterior motives, I would imagine is quite disturbing. And yeah, so let's see what else he has to say.
At this point, when we're doing this interview, voting for Trump is on the table. People are like, what are you talking about? That's my reality. That is my reality. I will not support anybody who's anti-Israel. I will not support anybody that is anti, making America safe. I'm not supporting anybody that is cool with the fact that it takes me 2.5 hours to get back into America from Toronto at the what is it called? The passport at the
passport control.
The line to go from Toronto to New York. It takes me 2.5 hours, as it should, but it takes you 2 minutes to cross the border. I'm not down with that shit. I'm not down with police officers in the greatest city on earth getting beaten up, and you're a legal immigrant, and then you have no bail. I'm not down with
flipping off the camera.
Flipping off the fucking camera like Tupac when he got arrested and he was coming out in the red Detroit Red Wings t-shirt.
You know, I just think that this kind of goes to show that if you support the Biden administration, the left at all, I'm not just talking about like the radical left, but just the left and Democrats at all. If you still support any of that in 2024, it's really time for you to wake up. Like we really need you to take a look around you and what is going on in America and understand that a lot of this decay that's happening in our society, a lot of the economic decay, a lot of the societal decay, a lot of the cultural decay, the family unit decay, all of that stems from, well, the globalists. But the globalists use these establishment politicians, which, you know, are both on the left and right, but primarily on the left, to do their bidding. It's not working, right? Like he said, you know, our border is wide open and we have people crossing over who are doing horrendous crimes to American citizens. They're not facing any penalties. You had the Democrats race hustling and creating a huge divide between people in America. So now we're not getting along anymore and we can't even just talk about these things anymore. I mean, it's okay for your political beliefs and your political ideology to change. It should be changing, especially because the left has just gotten so out of control. I think honestly at this point, if you can't acknowledge that what the left is doing is wrong, you have a pride issue. If Michael Rapaport can sit here and say, you know what, maybe Donald Trump is the right answer to this. You know what, maybe the left is actually destroying America and they're not helping us like they always say they want to help us. If freaking Michael Rapaport, with one of the biggest egos on the planet, can sit here and acknowledge that, you know what, my political beliefs might be wrong and I might need to re-educate myself and honestly take a good hard look at some of the things I believe and reassess. If he can do that, then why can't you? As much as I still don't really love Michael Rapaport, I can praise him for this. I think it's really brave to have been so strongly associated with the left political side of the aisle and to sit here on camera and be completely open and honest and be like, you know what? The more I take a look at what's going on, I can acknowledge that I'm wrong and that a lot of the societal problems that we're experiencing right now are because of me and my beliefs and people like me. And you know what? I have a lot of respect for that. I don't believe that you should vote for a president just based on, in my opinion, emotional issues. A lot of leftists tend to vote based on cultural issues like gay and trans rights, racial things, abortion. In Michael Rapaport's case, he's talking a lot about Israel. Personally, I don't believe that we should be voting for presidents or even in our local governments based on things that are of feelings. I think that we should be voting based on policies and economics and safety, like Michael Rapaport just pointed out, right? Because those are things that the government and the president and the administration can actually control and influence and affect. But I think voting on single issues or emotional issues is just like not the move. And I think that's like why we are where we are at today in America.
Down with going into a Costco or a 7-Eleven or a Rite Aid, as I videotaped once and went crazy viral, cleaning out the spot and walking like you're on like a beautiful spring day walk. I'm not down with any of that shit. So any of these people that support it, I'm not voting for them. So yes, my political views have changed a lot. I'm voting with my money and I'm voting with Israel. I'm not getting caught up or suckered into these race politics or any of that bullshit anymore. Yeah, they have changed and they're going to continue to change and evolve. It's a crazy time, American politics.
I honestly really, really, truly respect Michael Rapaport for this. I don't agree with him on Israel, okay? I just don't. But being able to acknowledge that the left pushes things like, you know, racial tensions, LGBT tensions, things like that, being able to acknowledge that that's really all the left does is huge. It's huge because the left is so good at indoctrinating and brainwashing people. So being able to take a step back and really like understand that you're wrong on that front is, I just, I applaud that. And I think for some people, what it really takes is like a personal experience. For Michael Rapaport, clearly it's the Israel thing. He's Jewish, so that hits close to home for him. And that's what it took for him to realize, you know what, I'm totally freaking wrong about my political ideology and what I was believing in. For other people, it could be like the economy right now. The economy in America is suffering so badly. People can't even afford to put food on the table or keep their lights on. The days of having a home for your family are over. And for a lot of Americans, that's their wake-up call. Simply can't do it anymore. All right, so I did pull one more clip of Michael Rapaport kind of talking about his change of heart with politics. And this is from Patrick Bet-David's podcast, which I personally like. And I feel like would be honestly a really good conversation because I think PBD is really good at like kind of asking the hard questions, but also being willing to listen. So let's take a look.
So if you believe in the Obama doctrine, all right, be nice to each other, whatever, there's no way you were voting for Trump. It just wasn't in the cards. It wasn't happening. It was abrasive. He was racist. The media, yada, yada, yada.
And he was a joke. Like New Yorkers, like he was like,
he's a ball busting troll.
Exactly.
He's a
But
shit
here's
talker.
why I think you're going to vote for him this time, because you've seen what happened under his first term. You didn't like it. He's the pig dick, and he's got the mean tweets, and he's orange. But life was good. There was no wars. The economy was going good. But damn, he's annoying to look at. But you also can acknowledge that the media had a major role in that. A major role in that.
When you take a step back.
Yes.
This is why it's so important to not vote for someone based on how you feel about them. It's not just about it. You can't do that. Okay. Personally, I like that Trump is abrasive. That's what I want in a leader. I want America's place in the world again to be feared and respected. And in my opinion, without the media involved, that's what Donald Trump represented for America. But, take that out of the picture for a minute. All right. The facts are here, people. When Donald Trump was our president, we didn't enter any wars. Our economy was doing fantastic. Gas was cheap. Like life was good until COVID hit. And then that was a different situation. I actually disagree with the way Trump handled COVID in a lot of ways, but that's besides the point. The point is, you can't just vote for a president because your parents voted Democrat, so now I vote Democrat. You can't do that. I know you love your parents, but your parents aren't always right, okay? Mom and dad get it wrong a lot. So you can't be voting for a president or even in your local elections based on what your parents voted for. You can't vote for a president based on if you like the way he talks or not. You can't vote for a president just based on where they came from. You need to think bigger than that. These career politicians, they're in it for them. They're not in it for you. So don't think that voting for a career politician is going to be a good indication that they'll be great in office or they'll be a great president. Like that's so not the case. Career politicians are always in it for themselves. When you have an outsider like Trump, who's used to running multi-million-dollar businesses, who doesn't have anything to gain really by being president, someone like that probably has more care for you and their country than any career politician ever could. And maybe you don't like the way Trump tweets, and maybe you don't like the way he looks or the way he talks, but guess what? When he was president, things were good. The only time things weren't good when he was our president is when the media manipulated you and manipulated narratives and facts to manipulate you into thinking he was a bad president because they don't want him in there because he actually wants the best for us. In the media and these career politicians, they don't. They want what is best for them, and what is best for them is not what is best for us. So these are the things that you need to be thinking about when you're voting, not if you like the way, a guy tweets or not.
Bruh.
I ranted on him hard for that. Hard. There's some video about it, whatever. Yeah. I mean, I ranted hard because I was like, what are you talking about, man?
Because you got played. And here's what this is why I think you're going to vote for Trump. Is because you, much like me, much like many people, independent thinkers, not the sheep, realize we kind of got played a little bit. Yes, Trump ain't exactly the smoothest character. He's not
Jesus Christ.
No, but his policies and who he has around him are way better than what's going on there. And here's my final point. You see what's going on with the border. You see what's going on with the wokeness. You see what's going on with culture wars. And you see what's going on with actual wars.
Yeah.
Specifically, you see who the Democrats have exposed their hand, especially the progressive left. You see what's going on between Israel and Gaza. You have 3 starved David highs on your chest right now. And as someone who is a proud New Yorker your whole life, You see what the Democratic Party has turned into. This DEI, ESG,
Yep.
woke manifestation of ridiculousness, intersectionality, decolonialization. You're looking at that and you say, you know what? As much as I can't stand big dick Donald Trump,
You said it.
at least he's fucking normal. At least he doesn't want to turn my boy into a girl.
At least he's normal.
Well,
But yes.
Like I've said before, we have tried the woke utopia, okay? We've tried that and it's not working, okay? It's clearly not working. And you know what? When Trump was president, I'm sorry, was anyone really dying from racism? Did gay people lose their right to marriage? No. Nothing actually happened in that regard when Trump was president. The only times situations like that did happen is because the media corrupted and manipulated stories and narratives into making that so, even though it didn't really happen, okay? Again, whether you like the guy or not, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that at the very least, whatever the Democrats are doing here ain't working, okay? It ain't working, honey.
I think I'm going to consider this.
I'm considering it.
Yes.
But to pull that, I don't know, we don't pull levers anymore.
Yeah.
Actually pull that lever.
Yeah, but pulling the lever for Biden.
And then
I'm going to tell you right now, I won't vote. I'm not voting for Biden.
No.
I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm not,
But then you can't talk shit. And you need to be able to talk.
I hate this argument. I hate that people like Michael Rapaport have been so brainwashed by the media and the left into thinking that it's better to not vote at all than to vote for Trump. Like as though Trump is seriously the Antichrist or something. Because a vote for nobody is a vote for Biden, okay? And y'all need to understand that. And I think some people on the left, like Michael Rapaport, need to let go of their pride and ego for a minute and let go of the fact that, you know, a lot of their identity was wrapped up in a Trump Derangement Syndrome and just let it go and stop thinking about themselves and their pride and their ego and worry about the common man, the rest of the country. Mike Rapaport, he wants to say it, but he won't. It's obvious that having Trump would at least be a better solution than having Biden. You just need to drop the ego for a minute, let go of your pride, and do the right thing. You know what the right thing is. It's a vote for Trump. It's not a vote for nobody. And you know that. I know it's hard, but, you know, I think a lot of people just need to stop thinking about themselves and their own ego for a minute and worry about what's best for the overall country and the people in it. Because Michael Rapaport is going to be fine either way, right? But people like myself and people like you watching this video, we're not. And I think people like you and I are sick of seeing successful, rich, whatever, billionaires, millionaires, just successful people in general who are going to be okay no matter what. I think we're sick of them telling us what's best for us. We're sick of them dictating what is best for us when it doesn't affect them either way. How about we tell you what's best for us, huh?
Gavin, I just left California. I'm not voting for Gavin with the good hair.
I love that. I love that.
Gavin with the good hair,
But
just like
Fuck
Becky.
out of here.
So here's my thing though. So
I'm not a sucker.
Yeah, I love
for
him. You
Gavin.
see how much
You're not a sucker? Okay. All right. Just because you're starting to come around doesn't mean I'm going to let you get away with all the bullshit you've been saying for the past, 5 years. Okay. You're definitely a sucker. All right. You definitely fell for it. So let's just not fall for it again by not voting.
But on top, the homelessness in in Los Angeles and in California, San Diego, San Francisco. I could speak on those places. Sacramento is so, but particularly in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area is unacceptable. It's scary. It's I don't know the how to fix it. It's unacceptable. It's not safe. It's not sanitary. I know California and Los Angeles is a driving city, but I do like to walk. When you walk, you shouldn't feel just uncomfortable by hordes and hordes and hordes of homeless people. It's not good for them. It ain't good for me. It's not good across the board.
I mean, I can tell you what part of it is with the homelessness thing, right? We saw Gavin Newsom successfully clean up the streets overnight when our overseas friends came to visit him, right? So we know that it is doable. Secondly, there are so many industries that rely on and thrive off of the homelessness situation, okay? Typical bureaucrats, they open up these sects of the local government where there are literal sects of governments that are there to try and solve the homelessness problem. But, where's the problem in that? and this even goes for some nonprofits, right? If they actually solve the issue, then all of those thousands of people with those jobs that are supposed to be helping solve the homelessness issue and help the homeless people, if they actually do that, then all of those people no longer have jobs. So there is obviously an incentive to not solve the problem, right? If we solve the homelessness issue, which really easily, truly could mostly be solved fairly quickly, especially with all of the funding, again, from taxpayers or donors that these sects of government, these bureaucrats, or these nonprofits receive, it could easily be done, but they don't want to do that. Why would they want to do that? Why would they actually want to solve the problem? Because then they don't make it, because then they're losing out on their payday. So, I always get really worked up about that because like Michael Rapaport just said, this isn't good for the homeless people either. I've been homeless, okay? I know what it's like. And I don't want that for people. The fact that these bureaucrats and these nonprofits are raking in money from people who are really sick and need a lot of help is just disgusting. It's so disgusting on so many levels, and I just can't. So let's keep watching. All right, well, that looks like it's the end of the clip. So obviously me and Michael Rapaport, we're not gonna agree on everything, right? That is so representative of how our lives work, right? We all have diverse thoughts. We all have different feelings and opinions on things derived from our own personal experiences. We aren't ever gonna agree on everything. But the whole point of this channel, this video, everything that I'm doing here is to say that there should be some universal truths that are acknowledged in life. There should be some lines in the sand that we all agree on. There needs to be societal boundaries. All of that to say this, I'm so proud and I commend Michael Rapaport for having the courage to stand up and be one of the first to say my political views, they're changing, they're evolving, which is perfectly okay and acceptable. That is part of the human experience. When people like Michael Rapaport can turn around and acknowledge that what is considered acceptable in this day and age in our current American society isn't normal, then you know that where we are at is truly bad and that more of us do need to start critically thinking about some things and evolving our own opinions and working together to help try and get our country back to a reasonable place. What do you guys think about all of this? Do you agree with Michael Rapaport? Do you think he's full of shit? Have you formerly not liked Donald Trump and changed your mind, or vice versa? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you guys in another video soon. And remember, God bless you and God bless the USA. Bye.